So, we meet again. Not you and me. I guess that's not what I'm talking about. Me and my next project. I seem to have a thing for projects. Well, this beautiful burnt orange hunk of iron is what I'm going to try to have as my next project. It is a 79 F150. This thing came into my possession, kind of a long story that could be a short story, but the short version of it is I got it for basically nothing, trying to help somebody out. And whenever I accepted it into my hands and I took the keys, I say took the keys, they never came out of the ignition, but I guess I've known this thing is, it's a beater. It's been a beater for the past 15 years in the possession of a family member of mine. It's been a beater. Driven in the winter time, given what it needed to continue running, and it's done that very well. Here in southern Indiana though, they don't skimp on the salt on the roads in the wintertime, and it kind of shows. I mean, I don't consider that bad rust by any means. I've seen a heck of a lot worse, but knew it was a beater, knew it was going to be a project. We drove it around a little bit, and then I realized something on the backside here. That bumper doesn't necessarily sit level. But then I looked a little bit closer and I realized that there was a something popping up right there. Now, I've seen this before, as probably many of you have. I know what that means. That means that the leaf spring is popped loose somewhere. Now, sometimes it can be just the spring hanger, sometimes it could be the bolt, sometimes it could be the leaf spring itself. So I crawled underneath here to take a look at what was going on. So all of this right in here is supposed to be frame. It's rather chewed up and gone. So I'm going to say that this truck is maybe a candidate for a frame swap if you're going to do a frame swap. But that's not what I'm going to do because I'm stubborn. So there's the front of the axle. That still looks bad. But, I mean, that's relatively solid, but still bad. You get up here and it starts looking good. So right there's the line between the cab and the bed. All of that from, I'd say, 6 inches behind the cab is all solid. So what I'm going to try to do, I don't know if it's smart or not, I'm going to try to put a new frame on the back half of it. I guess when I say a frame, just straight C-channel. There's a couple things that I'm not sure of on this project. Probably the biggest one is, normally on trucks, at least pickups, so the frame curves up on your front axle, and normally it's straight from there roughly to behind the bed, somewhere in there, and then it actually curves up and goes back, and sometimes it goes down again to allow travel in the suspension, on the rear suspension. I'm gonna try to just do straight C-channel because I don't really feel like cutting and re-welding and bending and welding and bending and welding and cutting and welding, and I don't feel like doing all that. I'm gonna try to just do a section of straight C-channel, and we're gonna see how it goes. Now, this truck has got some other issues with it, but that's another story for another day. I'll address those issues once I get that problem solved. I mean, they're not big issues, but nonetheless. So yes, this truck is an 89. You got November of '88, so it's an '89 model. I honestly don't know how many miles are truly on it. Odometer says 66771.3. I'm sure that's at least 166,000, but I don't know for sure. It has a 302, fuel injected 302, and it's got a 4-speed in it. Should be a good little beater truck to go around the farm. I'm thinking, I'm hoping, but it does. There's the key. Oh, there it goes. Forgive me. It got rather cold last night. I think it got down to 20. First little cold snap we've had here this year. But there it's idling. It runs good. Starts up okay. I'm surprised it started that hard, but it ain't started in a little while. But we'll get it pulled in. The goal for today is get the bed off of it and have a look-see. So this is not a how-to by any means. I wouldn't follow my advice a whole lot. I don't really know what I'm doing. I try to live by that. I just go with the flow. But to get the bed off, there's 6 bolts. Where's it at? There's one of them. One of them up front. One of them is supposed to be right there. It's already gone. And then one of them right there. I'm confident I'm gonna have to cut those out, or at least some of them. In the fuel tanks, you got three little screws to get the filler necks out, and then make sure you get the tail lights unplugged. But that's what I'm gonna work on. Well, it's loose. Just rounded they're just a plow bolt, carrots bolt, whatever you want to call it. Had to grind them out and then took a punch and punched them down. So, whew. Next. Well, that went smooth. I only shat myself a little bit whenever that popped loose. What was holding me on the rear was those bolts. Ooh, had just a little bit of shoulder left to them, and they held up. But I knew that if I just popped it, they would go through, and they did. All right. Dang. Yeah. There's the back tank. I don't think there's any saving it. Yeah. I think the front tank is still in decent shape. Other side, in roughly the same spot, that rear leaf spring hanger about to come off. Frame right behind that leaf helper spring support. I mean, the front supports definitely don't look good, but right behind the axle is where things really start to go south. I assume that's just because of the salt in the roads in the wintertime, but I could be wrong. But all right, I guess now just to start disconnecting stuff to chop her up. Making progress. I think I got everything unhooked. Got it jacked up. That was job number one. Fuel line's disconnected, front tank is out, parking brake's disconnected, wires are disconnected, all the fuel lines are out, exhaust is disconnected. Ooh. See if I have enough battery to keep going. Well, that looks a little different. It's like it's missing some stuff. Battery was getting low, so I didn't film any of it pulling the frame out, but I just did it with the tractor. Wrapped the chain around what was left of the frame, just jerked her out of there. Tried to mark them up as square as I possibly could. We'll see how bad it's screwed up here in a minute. I'm not really sure where I left off yesterday. But it's the next morning. Worked most of yesterday. Get the new C channel on there. I hope that my original assumption was correct, that the hardest part of this whole project is going to be getting those big pieces of C channel up in the right spot, positioned right. I mean, I don't know how heavy the things are. It's 7-inch C channel. It's 10 feet long, so they're not light. But getting them positioned, squared up right, I think that's going to be the hardest part of the whole job. I might be wrong. As you're probably already aware, I think the biggest concern over the whole thing is chopping that frame off right there, welding it back together, bubble gumming it back together, and getting everything to hold. So my plan is, I've obviously welded that back together. Instead of putting like a piece of C channel on the inside or on the outside, because they don't necessarily line up the best, I got some 3/16 plate steel. I want to sandwich it, the frame, to add some structuralness to it. We'll see how that goes, but that's the next step. somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, I think that's okay. Like I said, C-channel frames welded all the way around. 3/16 plate on both sides. I am not a welder. Never claimed to be a welder. I've never had one bust down on me. 1/2-inch bolts, grade 8s. It'll be okay. I have to go way up. Okay, let's pull these jack stands out. So I've got everything supported on the back end with that jack. I have all the bolts snugged. Oh, I'm gonna wait until it is settled on the ground. Oh, and it's got weight on it before I torque the bolts. Those overloads are red right now because that's the only paint that I had in a rattle can. I didn't feel like mixing up my sprayer just for those overloads. So, all right, moment of truth. I'm gonna let it down. This will be the first time that it's rested on its own weight. Ugh. Alright, here we go. Oh! Well, that's pretty cool. It didn't snap in half, so that's a plus. Cool. Okay. So, in the same way that I am not a welder, maybe even more so, I am not a painter. However, I do have a paint gun. Okay. It's got 2 coats on it. I don't have a whole lot of self-control. So I went ahead and I put the gas tank up on it. The paint is still very tacky, but I have to see if I can crank it over and it'll fire. Let's see if we can get the fuel pump to prime. Oh, turn that down. I heard the pump whirl. Let's turn the key off. Sounds like I felt pressure. Da da da. Are you kidding me? Ha ha ha. Shoot, that lit off a lot easier than I thought it would. Heck yeah. Yeah, that makes me happy. Since the last time we talked, the tank didn't take that long to get in, but I had to redo some lines, had to order some of those, so it's been a few days. But I got a new tank in it, ordered a new rear tank, put new fuel pumps in both of them while I'm here. Obviously I had to do something with that one, but put a new one in the front tank. So I think I've got all my lines ran, I've got everything painted, got everything secured other than the exhaust. I want to work on getting a bed put on it. So I've got the boards on it. I really just have them on there drying out. I believe they're mostly dry now. I've got a 4x4 there, a 4x4 on the back. I intend to put 2 more in the middle, and we'll tie them all in. But I'll make probably another video on the bed. I'm probably going to end this one here for now. The frame's put together. I've drove the truck around quite a bit, at least around the property. It hasn't fallen apart yet, so that's good. But now I'm getting some problems with the truck running, so I'm gonna focus on that for now. But because I know probably you're curious about the cost of all of this. This is partly just for fun for a project, partly I still very much intend to use this truck. Was it worth doing? That's a matter of opinion, I guess. But the cost that I have in this, so the 2 pieces of C-channel, actually all of the C-channel, but the 7-inch C-channel for the frame, the 2-inch C-channel for the cross members, and then the plate steel for sandwiching the 2. That all came in relatively cheap, much cheaper than I thought that it was going to be. It was only like 170 or close to 200 bucks for the steel, which is much better than I thought it was going to be. By far the most expensive part of this whole project was the new leaf springs. So I put new leaf springs on it, the new hangers, the hardware, the springers, the hangers, the shackle. That was by far the most expensive. Those were either $700 and some change or closer to $800. The new rear tank came from Amazon. It was $120, I believe. The new pumps, I put new fuel pumps in the front and the rear. Those were $50 and $55 a piece. And $100 in welding wire. I forgot that one. That in mind, Rock Auto is a little bit cheaper than you just go to a normal box store, but you got to wait a little bit for shipping to get to you, and you got to pay for the shipping, but they still come out cheaper as long as you can wait for them. But yeah, that's that's really it. The wood I think was a little over 300 bucks, and I'm not done with that yet, so I'm not going to go in for that. But yeah, I think I'll end that here. I think I've saved this truck from the scrapyard, as long as I can still get the engine running at least reliable enough that I'll use it and I won't feel like I get stranded somewhere. But okay.